Well, hello, this is Peter Combs from Bidamount.com and BidamountLive.com and P.O. Combs Asian Art in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And today is Friday, July 23rd, 2021, and this is our regular weekly video. And we're going to take a look back and see how things went last week on eBay and over at Catawiki, as always do, and what's coming up next week, and some other things that are happening. They're coming up in the auction scene. One of the things I wanted to mention, we made some changes around here this week. As you know, we have the identification program that we run where people submit images and so forth in here for us to look at, and we, for a fee. For $12, we'll tell you what it is, about how old it is, roughly what it's worth, as best we can. And as you know, I've been somewhat limited in my typing ability over the last couple of months because of an injury. I lost use. Basically, at this point, I've sort of lost use of my left hand. At any rate, I can't really type with it. I can do a few other things, but typing is not possible. And we were trying to come up with a workaround, a way that we could continue doing the identification assistant thing, because we get too many of them, and I was getting behind on them, as some of you know. So what we did was we decided this week to try this. Videos, okay, because we have the software, we have the equipment, and we've been able to streamline it so we can do a video about as quickly as we could type a reply. And this is sort of what they'll look like. They run anywhere in length from a little over 2 minutes to, if it's a complex thing, as much as 5 minutes long on the item. We'll go over it with you. We'll tell you what we think of it. Basic description, age. We'll examine the piece with you using the pointer and go over different aspects of the vase like this, like the foot rim, and so on and so forth, and discuss it. This happened to be a very nice flambe vase that somebody had that was marked as an 18th century Qinlong example, but it was actually a very nice 19th century example, and very well done, I must say. Beautiful thing. Any rate, this is so what we're switching over to on the identification assistant. So if you send one in, what you'll get is a link to where on the reply you'll get a link to where the video is, and you can go and look at it. It's on our YouTube account, but as a private video, and you can only see it with the link. So your privacy is assured, and it works out just fine. Okay, and that's the latest big change around here. All right, now, what else is happening? A couple of things are going on. One, there's a very interesting sale coming up in 2 weeks. Raphael Asana down in Nantucket. He does sort of a big summer sale. He does a number of sales during the summer. And as you know, Nantucket's a pretty affluent stretch of real estate in America. And there's a lot of good antiques on Nantucket. And once or twice a summer, he does sort of a major blowout sale. These China trade sales used to take place at Northeast Auctions up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, for many, many years under Ronald Bourgeot, under the Ronald Bourgeot company, and they were epic events. They were wonderful. They were started actually. Ron with his friend Carl Crossman, the late Carl Crossman, was a good friend of Ron's, and they began doing these China trade auctions. And Carl Crossman, of course, was involved with the Peabody Museum. He knew lots of people that had great collections, and when they went to sell them, they would call up Carl and call up Ron and say, "Come get it." And Ron is sort of retired now. I just spoke to him a month or so ago, and he's down in Florida enjoying himself after decades of hard work with his partner. And it seems to me that Raphael Asana is sort of picking up the slack here on China trade. And there's some very nice China trade lots coming up on Nantucket on August 7th. I think it's August 7th and 8th. I guess it's 2 days. For example, there's a couple of very nice China trade pith paintings. These aren't marked, but they look like they're by Sun Qua or Puqua, one of the major Canton port painters. Very, very high quality. There's a pair of them framed and ready to go with a $1,500 to $2,500 estimate. $1,000 opening bid seems reasonable. And also some very nice garniture vases like this. A beautiful example. What I noticed is there's also some very good armorial stuff in here. I'm not sure where all it's coming. Obviously coming, I think, from a pretty good collection of some kind. This says Starbuck Estate, East Brick. Oh, Nantucket and East Brick. Yeah, very nice neighborhood. And they're getting some good things out of there. There's a really fine Famille Rose Qinlong period watch keep. And these are very rare. If you're a China trade collector, you know what it is I'm talking about. But I have these beautiful relief work flowers on them, and you would hang your pocket watch and be able to see it in here, so it would be like a little table clock. Just a beautiful piece of porcelain, absolutely great, wonderfully made, and it looks like it's in excellent condition, which is very unusual for these. The butterflies and flowers all look terrific, fantastically well drawn, and as I think a pretty reasonable estimate, $3,000 to $5,000 with a $2,000 opening bid. And then onto this, there's some more pith paintings. These are of birds and birds of paradise, which you often see in Chinese paintings. Like these are peahens. I'm not sure what they are. At any rate, there are some birds of paradise as well, I'm sure. At any rate, there's those, and then there's this. This is a single lot. I guess nobody sat down with Raphael to tell him that most of the items in this lot could be sold individually very, very easily. All right, the lot had a $1,000 opening bid. It's up to about $1,700 now. Should bring $10,000 or $15,000 anyway. But there's some very nice pieces. These are all Kangxi from what I can see. And some very nice Kangxi examples in here, especially this teapot over here with the birds on it. And I'd love to see what this tray looks like. You can't really see it. Another very good teapot, this beautiful two-handled serving piece, the gin bottle over here. These alone typically will bring, $1,500 to $2,500 in a Kangxi bowl. And then this Kangxi example with the rolled handles, just a great lot. If you're an early 18th century porcelain buyer and you like Kangxi Amari ware, boy, this is a lot for you. It's instant collection, and we'll see what happens with that. Now, also, is this also Raphael? Yeah, it is. There's some junks, things like that, and a lot of Rockefeller plates. That's not something you see very often. Generally, these are sold one by one. And in here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 Rockefeller plates in one lot. That's sort of interesting. Right now, they're looking for an opening bid of $1,000. Each one of those plates should be bringing $600 to $800 anyway. So to give you an idea what that lot's probably going to end up bringing. Big fire truck going by without a siren. And heck of a nice lot, and these are very generous. And this is also at Raphael Asona. Okay, so if you want to take some shots of this stuff, I would suggest you do. If you're a dealer, and you can see a lot like this, yeah, leave a bid on it. See if you get it. Okay, leave a smart bid on it. Calculate it out. There's some very nice examples in here. Get a condition report, of course, as always on this stuff. But I would definitely look into it. 13 export plates, 2 small platters, bearing the arms of Seaton and Abercorn. Okay, just a great lot. Nice export pieces. Okay, now and there's a lot of other stuff on there. And the Bidamount Live site has been getting active. We're actually putting up some stuff. We just got some things out of a house up in Newburyport that we're going to be putting on there. There's a couple of very nice Chinese paintings. And what else is going on here? Flip the tab. Oh, yeah. Last week's eBay report. Let's see how things did over on eBay last week. Things did pretty well. There was this very nice, probably Yongchen early Qianlong period teapot. Beautifully decorated. Nice, strong enamels all the way around. Here's a picture of the bottom of it. Okay. Nice looking foot on it. Slightly V-shaped, which makes me think it might be Yongchen period. There's another one here. I don't know why they related it to this one. This is an extremely rare example, but they decided to throw it in there anyway. I don't think they know the difference. Anyway, this is a nice teapot, and it ended up selling for $701, which is about right. It's a very nice example, beautifully done. And then this was the ceramics and collectibles guys had this. This was an interesting plate. It was a Wanli plate done in the Swato style. And it was around 8 inches in diameter, or Jiajing to Wanli period, early Wanli, late Jing. And you have these typical, very dark, almost black outlines, creating, the areas that would be filled in here and here and here, these very, very dark outlines, and then light washes of blue filling it in. And this scene you see on, I love the alien antenna at the bottom here. And then the scenes would be washed in once they were outlined with a lighter blue and then finished. And the rim is barbed on this example, nicely done. And I think somebody got this at a pretty reasonable price. It was only $401 for an 8-inch dish. It looked like it was in very good shape, and it's sort of done in a pattern that you see mostly on Swato pieces, but attractive looking landscape. And sometimes you see this pattern on Swato plates, and the plates are enormous. You know, they're 18 or 20 inches. But this wasn't done in Swato, but the pattern is. The pattern is very similar. All right, and then here to the big armorial plate. I had mentioned this last week because I thought it was such a beautiful example. I thought it was just over the top with the blue decoration around the rim, and then the central scene with the arms of, who's it, Mapper or Maper on it. Anyway, it doesn't matter who that was. You can look it up. But beautiful, really, really beautiful gilded work around the outside. Nice orange peel. The plate looks like it was in a good sized dish. Here's another shot of it. Very, very good. Excellent. And they're Arms of McDonald. That's what it was, Arms of McDonald. And ended up selling for $2,000, which I think was a good buy. This is an early 1800s, late 1700s dish, and very big and nice. And $2,000 took it away, all right? And because it's export ware, it doesn't bring what it would bring if it was domestic ware, but the quality that you get with export porcelain, the top-end stuff relative to the Chinese domestic market is breathtaking, because the Chinese export stuff was often of much higher quality than the stuff that was sold domestically within China. All right, it's one of those things. All right, and then on to this, the Narina Straits hot food pot. Did very well. Hot food pots have come into sort of a fashion lately. People really like them, and they display well, of course. And this one brought $5,000. All right, and I think there's another one up there again this week, slightly different. I don't think it's going to bring $5,000, but there is another one. And then here to the Kong. A number of people asked me, what the heck happened to the Kong? This thing was up last week. I talked about it. I thought it was pretty nice. The guy didn't describe it very well, and I don't think he was really sure what it was. And it started to get some activity. It got up to $1,000, $1,500, somewhere in there, and then it disappeared. It just disappeared. And I couldn't understand what happened, and I assumed that he'd been given some huge offer or something to take it down, and he just took it down. But I wasn't sure. So you notice here that what he did was it was up to $1,500. And the old trick is if you decide you don't want to sell it or you want to pull an item because you got a great offer, if you pull it, let's say if there was $1,000 worth of bids on this lot, and you cancel the auction at $1,000, you're going to pay the eBay fee of about $150 or so, because they're going to take their fee because you ended it at that price. Strangely, you can go in and you can just cancel all the bids back to zero, and then cancel the listing, and you don't pay anything. Just a little pro tip. All right. So if you find yourself in that position, you want to do it. Or you think you've gotten an offer that you won't get by auctioning it, and you want to cancel it, but you don't want to pay the eBay fee. That's how you get around the eBay fee. It is legit. They don't care. It's fine. Okay. Anyway, this thing was back to $25. I emailed the guy and I said, "What happened to your Kong? What happened?" And he told me something interesting. He said what happened was some guys started bidding on it, and the price went way up. And then they started retracting bids, and then people coming back and bidding it back up again and taking the bids back off. So he had this sort of, because you get notified when you're selling something when bids are retracted. And he started noting these wanky bid retractions with the price going up and down. And a number of them were what we call zero feedback bidders, which is not a great sign. It usually means that they had an eBay account and it got suspended because they weren't paying their bill or something. And you have lots of Chinese buyers on the mainland that have accounts with no feedback, one feedback, two feedbacks. And if they're players and they're messing around, that account eventually becomes canceled by eBay. But at any rate, I think he was the victim of some people playing games with the prices, trying to rattle them a little bit. And he sort of panicked and pulled the piece, and that was that. So I don't know if he's going to relist it. He didn't say what he was going to do with it. But if he relists it, we'll put it back in the newsletter for the next time when we see it. All right, but it's a problem right now with some buyers, as many of you know that do this, with guys in China fooling around with the bids, or somebody in China is bidding it up and somebody else in America they know is bidding it up, and they're working together. Then one of them will pull the bid, the other one will push the bid, and there's this bid activity that begins to make it look suspicious, and that it's by intent. They want people to not be interested in the piece. I've been through it with my own lots. All right, and then on to this. This is a curious thing. A fellow put up 4 or 5 of these clobberware, enameled dishes. Clobberware are plates that were exported out of China, for example, in underglazed blue, and then once they got to Holland, the painters there, the Dutch, they would paint them and add colors, these greens and reds and blues, over the blues. And this was something that was fairly commonly done. And it was called clobbering, and it comes from a Dutch term. It doesn't mean smash and destroy. It comes from a Dutch expression. But at any rate, this guy had a whole bunch of clobberwares up, and he listed them as being 19th century, which was a mistake. These are all Kangxi dishes. These are all Kangxi period, and they even added these funny rain marks or seal marks on the backs of them when they clobbered the pieces. This is very lightly clobbered on the back, but there's quite a bit of it on the front. You can see they used a green wash around the inside of the cavetto. Otherwise, it would have been white. And then they added all these colors and probably the gilding and all this other stuff. But what happened at the end was somebody got a great buy, $63. Okay, there was this one. And here's another one that was, I think, even a little bit prettier. Very well-known scene. Strip away the enamels, and you'll recognize this pattern of the terrace, the landscape with the craggy rocks coming up, and fresh big flowers blooming, and butterflies ascending, and so forth. It's a very spring-like decoration, and it had been again clobbered on the inner rim with greens, and then all kinds of enamels were added to it. And somebody picked this up for just $99. What a wonderful buy for Kangxi dish. But it's too bad because he listed it as 19th century, and I think folks paid a 19th century price for clobberware. The Kangxi period originals are a bit more valuable, so I suspect one person got all of them at a very good price, very, very good price. And then on to this, the Kangxi dish with these radiating sort of lotus petal panels going around the outside, and this very nice milk-colored white glaze, very milky looking. Reminded me a great deal of Kakeyamon from Japan, the Kakeyamon white porcelain. And they had these extremely pretty flowers dancing around the outside, and then a central scene of aquatic plants. Just a beautiful plate. And the thing ended up selling for $284. And I liked this plate a lot. I think that was a good buy. I think it was quite unusual and a very nicely glazed piece of porcelain. Really, really nice. And then over here to this, that Famille Rose dish with the 2 foo lions and the balls and the cash symbols and all that. I just liked this because I thought it was unusual. The colors were bright and strong. Dates probably to about 1840, 1830 or 40. Nice old example, earlier example, and finally done. The back of it looked awfully nice to me for that big V-shaped foot angled inward. So you figure it in at about 1830, 1840. And somebody picked it up for $323. And I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad at all. These plates, just with a standard sort of generic Mandarin scene with not a lot of detail, can bring about half that. And this I thought was much more interesting, and it was extremely pretty on top of it. All right, and now here to the, we talked about this last week also, was the little snuff bottle. This was a nice little tea dust glazed snuff bottle, late Qing Dynasty, but it looked legit to me. And a lot of people liked it. It ended up selling for $237. It had a polished rim around the top a little bit. Might have been a nick or something at some point. But nice shape, nice little bottle. So I suspect a snuff bottle buyer grabbed that up. And then on to this, the shaped side platter. This is not an extremely unusual platter. It's sort of almost a standard export model. But one of the things I liked about it was that the painting of the central scene with the ducks fishing. He's got a fish in his mouth, if you didn't notice. And this fellow's coming in for one. But just the composition of this scene I found to be very, very attractive. And I think whoever decorated it did the outer border beautifully to frame off this center scene of view, a view into nature. And you have bamboo trees and chrysanthemums blooming and plum blossoms coming out. And you've got 4 ducks, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th is hiding over here in the background. It was just a very interesting plate and very good, very, very good decoration. It ended up going for $309, which I think is perfectly fine. Very nice thing. It was the plate itself was about 9 or 10 inches long. It wasn't one of the massive platters, but it was very pretty decorated, very prettily decorated. Looked almost, like a canvas scene right there. Just the composition I thought was terrific. And then over here to this, the pair of blue plates. Now these had been inquiries, and I thought they'd bring $350 to $500. I think I thought, and I thought they were, but I did think they were awfully nice. And the fellow got them, and he listed them correctly. Did a good job with it, and they did pretty well. A lot of people liked them, and they ended up selling for $734. There you go. I'm happy for him. He's a nice fella. And these came from a collection of some kind, as I recall. So good on whoever got them, and good on him for doing his homework. Got to do your homework on things. Okay, and now what's coming up? The rock crystal sensor. This closes on Saturday. Closes tomorrow. If you had bookmarked it, don't forget it. It's up to $576. I suspect it's gonna go 2.5 times that. Maybe a little more, because it's beautiful quality, beautifully shaped, and looked to be in pretty nice condition. Had some internal wall fracture lines and things like that, but that's sort of normal for these. All right, so don't be too shocked. And then this closes also in a couple of days. This has no reserve on it. This is over on Catawiki. And this is a Kangxi period vase made for the Islamic market, either for India or the Middle East. Beautifully done, beautiful shaping. I love the cup form upper section here at the mouth. There's this nice cocoa brown banding running around the body. There's a lot going for it. And it's up to just 134 pounds, or 134 euros. I suspect it's going to go a lot more. It closes tomorrow, in 22 hours from now. So it closes sort of late in the day tomorrow, U.S. time. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Go put a bid on it. All right, and then on to this, the tortoiseshell box. They just have it listed as a box, which is sort of funny. Just as carved Chinese box. It is Chinese, it is carved. It is early 19th century, but it's tortoiseshell. And you're not supposed to sell tortoiseshell on eBay, but seeing as it's here, and I don't see a lot of modern tortoiseshell carvings turning up on the market, I think it's fair to talk about this. This was a beautiful example. So you get some other pictures up here. Let's see here. I want you to see this thing is really dirty. All this is just dirt that's down inside of it. And in a minute, they show you the back of it. It gives you a better sense of how it will look. There it is. All right. There's the back of it, the houses and the buildings and the people walking around and all that good stuff. All right. And expect it to do pretty well at the end. I wouldn't be surprised. Right now, it's at $458, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if it jumped up to $1,200 to $1,800, because we've seen other good tortoiseshell boxes do that before, and I don't see any particularly noticeable wear or damage problems on it. So it should do well. It should do well ultimately. And let's see here. And then onto the jade mirror. This is a heck of a nice piece of jade. It's a big mirror. This is the jumbo mirror, I called it. Very nice quality. We'll get the better shot of the carving. Here you go. Notice the quality. There's a vase in here and all of this work in here. This looks like 18th century jade to me, or early 19th century. Very nicely done. Very nice jade handle. Very polished, very smooth, very well done. And somebody, of course, in the early 20th century couldn't help themselves, and they turned it into a lady's hand mirror, the two pieces. But excellent quality. And right now, the whole package is up to $619. I expect it to bring $2,000 or $3,000 anyway. Could bring even more if that disc is as nice as it looks in person. And then over to here, more memorial ware. A pair of English silver foil memorial gravy boats with coat of arms on them, obviously. Beautifully shaped, nice low profile on them. And currently they are at, They have one bid at $450, so they got an opening bid. Don't let that opening bid scare you. They should do better than that. They should bring 4 or 500 a piece, I would hope. But we'll see. They are a memorial. You can look up the marks and do all that fun stuff. And then lastly for the week is this Blue to Hue Dragon opium pipe for the Vietnamese market, the Sino-Vietnamese market. A nicely done example, nice cobalt decoration, a very animated animal on there, and nice hard, sort of very hardcore bronze mounts running around the under the lid. And there's another picture of the dragon and so forth. It's just a terrific piece of porcelain. And I love it when they have it clad with old pieces of metal. And it's $1,279. And by the time this is over, probably in the $2,500 to $3,500 range, I suspect. But we'll see. We'll see. This closes in 6 days. It's got a ways to go yet, so you don't know what's going to happen. And that's about it for the week. It wasn't really busy on the internet. As I said last week, most of Europe goes on vacation in August or July into August, so they're going to have a lot of dealers that'll be off with their families doing things, taking a break, enjoying the summer, and that's pretty normal. It'll build back up again in September, but I think for the next couple of weeks, you're going to see less stuff than you normally see on the internet for auction because people are selling, they want to take a break, they need to go on trips, and getting it shipped and doing all of that takes up a lot of valuable summer vacation time. We don't want to give away any of that. All right, so that's the story for the week, and we're working on things, and those of you that have sent in inquiries, expect to get a video back with my mug on it. And what else? That's about it. Have a wonderful weekend. We're out of the rain here. It was raining like cats and dogs here for days on end. We got just about a foot of rain in the first 2.5, 3 weeks of summer, which is pretty unusual. The grass is growing very rapidly. And that's it. All right. And the ocean is 70 degrees here. It's practically a bath. Normally it's in the lower 60s this time of the year. Anyway, it's nice and warm. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week. And thank you for watching, and subscribe, and give us a thumbs up, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying. Okay. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.